Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say hello to you all. Thank you so much for joining me for the self-care series. I have done this specifically for veterinary professionals because I think it's a good idea that I just share some ideas that I have about upgrading your self-care and maybe try reducing some of the stress that you're feeling. I mean, the goal is that we try increase our daily awareness of the self-critical thoughts that we have, and then we need to try promote thoughts and behaviors that reflect more of a compassionate relationship we have with ourselves. I mean, we are all busy people, we're busy professionals, and the world's gotten busier and faster, and just 2021 has brought on its whole new challenges. And I think we just starting to see those feelings of compassion fatigue and definitely burnout. I just wanted to put together 5 sessions really. And the idea is that they um, you know, approach everything that you have in the moment, and try to look at things where you have immersive practices, and also learn about how you can journal, and use that for more kind of relevant self-care. So I'm hoping you'll be able to join me every day. It's just short uh, little nuggets of information I thought would be really interesting. So this mini series is really for anybody who's ever felt really overwhelmed, overworked, and completely exhausted. And you feel just a little bit hopeless because everything she or he had to do, you feel like you're just not doing enough. No matter how much you're doing, you're not doing enough. Pretty much it's every busy mom, wife, husband, busy veterinary professional that I know, including me. You feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels all the time. So, this is an overview of what the 5-day series entails and what we'll cover in this series. So, day one is, are you on the verge of veterinary burnout? Okay. And this is just, I'm going to cover the 5 signs, you know, of you to kind of think about. And these are the ones that you might think, is there something going on here that I need to be a little bit more mindful of? And day two, we're going to cover, are you eating good brain food? And I'm going to talk about 4 ways of ensuring that you're having, just kind of good choices, especially when it comes to what you're putting in your body, and what kind of food you're actually feeding yourself and your body. Um, Day three is like, are you sleeping properly? And what we want to know is, are there any specific ways that sleep hygiene can actually help? And I've got 5 ways in which good sleep hygiene will really help reduce your stress. We've also got day four. And on day four, I'll speak about how to journal your way to an improved health. And there are 6 ways in which journaling really does actually, it has been proven to really reduce stress, and that kind of negative self talk that we sometimes find ourselves delving into. Day five will be combating negative self talk. And we want to specifically look at this so that we can really try avert any burnout or anything like that. But before we get into that, like, who is this person who's deciding to give us all this self-care advice, and what do I know about this? My name is Tsidi. I am a veterinary surgeon. I qualified over 17 years ago. I have been in mixed practice. I worked in equine practice. I worked nights. I worked as a locum. I owned a practice for 5 years. And even though I had all of this on my plate, I got my 2 boys, I got my husband, and I figured, you know what, I wasn't busy enough. I'm going to kind of shoehorn more work in there. So I started working for Dutchy College as an OSCE examiner. I was also a clinical coach, obviously, in my own practice, but I would train vet nurses, and I loved teaching them because it was awesome, and I love giving back. But I felt really like I could do more, or I needed to do more. So I decided to utilize the single hour I had left in my busy day. And I did a postgraduate certificate. And I enjoyed it. It was lovely. But I felt that maybe my leadership skills were kind of lacking. So I did a certificate with the NHS Academy and RCBS, Edward Jenner leadership. It was all go. It was all go, and I enjoyed it, and I really had a good time. I didn't have that much time for any self care, or even kind of considering if this was okay. So I started experiencing, obviously, as you can imagine, some not such great signs. Okay, so I was working late. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was having scraps with my lovely husband, and I was starting to feel really overwhelmed by work. I had the suicidal ideations and the panic attacks. Oh my God. When you have that feeling that you're just everything is just overwhelming, that was me. And I don't know if any of you have felt that way, but I I was a card carrying member, and this is somebody who's a total perfectionist, and everything needed to be in a certain way, in a certain place, just made it worse. So I ended up having um, a hideous vomiting spell that wouldn't stop, and it turns out I had made myself really poorly. I had so much stress and inflammation that had developed these adhesions all over my abdomen, and it had caused a obstruction. So I had a small intestinal bowel obstruction that needed to be operated on. So that's it, just like that. Craziness stopped. I couldn't go to work anymore. No driving, no emails, no cooking, no cleaning, nothing. From being crazy busy to you are staying in bed. So I just had to reflect on the truth that I just had to I tried to handle the stress myself and everything, and be everything to everybody. And my people pleasing just kind of crushed me. And I've just seen, even in my slide, the eye is like tiny eye. So sorry about the typo. But I was burnt out, guys, and I really had to change my ways very quickly. So today, I spent, that was a good 18 months, almost 2 years ago now. It's not 2 years, but almost 2 years ago. And today I'm trained as a life coach, and I specifically specialize in mindset mentorship and wellness coaching for veterinary professionals. I am still a practicing small animal vet. I'm a wife, and I'm a mom to to my two boys. And my obsession and my mission really is to help and inspire women to create, a life of freedom by finding their voices, and just deal with any stress and the stresses, so that they can start living that true purpose and sharing that wisdom with the world, because we all have it. And being a veterinary professional, I think, is just it's a privilege, because we get to interact with people in so many different ways. But I currently live in Devon, in Ottery St. Mary, with my charming Irish husband Glenn, and my two boys, and we have our dog Cody, and all of us just are answerable to my cat Gordon, because he pretty much rules the roost, doesn't he? So, um, if you are at home watching this and thinking, "Ugh, what does she have to say?" I would just grab a notebook and your favorite pen, and maybe pop your phone on vibrate or silent. If you're on call, obviously keep it close by. But if you need anything, or you want to find out more about what it is I do, my email address is there. It's gardner.coaching@gmail.com. And we'll just have a little check-in as to what we're going to talk about today. All right. So the thing is, the series is basically going to be run in this manner. I'm just going to speak about today is basically about veterinary burnout. It yeah, it's a thing, and I think we all kind of talk about it, but the worry is we're not really sure what to do. So it's a real problem, especially for our industry. Not going to go down the the statistics of our suicide rate, but we know that it's a problem. I'm not saying burnout causes suicide, but I wouldn't exclude that at all. So, please don't underestimate the importance of building resilience to stress, and just recognizing the importance of taking care of your physical self and your physical well-being, as well as your emotional well-being. You really, really need to do this. And you can't do that if you don't actually appreciate what you lose by not dealing with the burnout. I mean, it's got organizational costs, it's also got personal costs, um, because it touches everything. Remember these signs? Yes, these and more all represent different stages of burnout, but I'm just going to talk about five that a lot of us see in ourselves, in our colleagues, in our loved ones. And just ask yourself, if I mention one and you think, nah, that's not me, that's great. But if I mention one and you think it's not me, but actually my colleague is thinking or complaining about this a lot or not saying anything. So, like I'm saying, these are not exhaustive, not in the slightest. However, they are ones that I need you to kind of think about, and just look at them and see if you recognize yourself in any of them. All right, nobody else, nobody else is watching this with you, so yeah, just think about it. Okay. So the first one is the first of the five signs. This is not that you're in burnout, but you could be on the verge. And this one is insomnia. I mean, yes, we know what this is like. We feel like we are not getting sufficient rest. We're constantly like having poor sleep, and our sleep pattern is disrupted. You're just overtired, and you need to just remember that your mental energy is important, because it'll affect the way you behave the day after, because it will affect any of your business decisions, but also your clinical decisions and your clinical judgment. And then you feel really bad about some of the decisions that you made because you just didn't have good sleep. And that's because your brain is whirring around and wondering about all those things that you did do, but you can't sleep because you haven't had sufficient sleep the night before, and when you do sleep, it isn't good sleep. So insomnia definitely is one of those that you need to look out for. So number two is procrastination. I think a lot of us experience this. So do you really kind of cringe at the length of your to-do list? And do you always like put new stuff onto your to-do list and then tick them off because you forgot, but then you actually haven't done the stuff that has been there for a week, and it's gone from being important to urgent because your to-do list is a disaster. You've got too many things on there, and so you just kind of procrastinate and think, I'll get to it another time. Do any of these tasks actually excite you, or are you thinking to yourself, I really don't want to do this, and you just want to crawl under a rock or a blanket and just binge watch on Netflix? Um, you know, you will miss deadlines, you will miss that, those things that you were supposed to have done, that client you're supposed to have called back, um, you know, whenever it is the order was supposed to go and you were meant to tell someone, you just didn't, and therefore the order's gone, and then the cutoff, and then tomorrow is the surgery, all of those crazy things. You've got to just sort out the fact that you are procrastinating. And as soon as you admit that, we need to have some sort of tools to deal with this. The third thing, obviously, is fatigue. The body is only capable of handling so much stress on limited sleep and rest. You've heard the phrase kind of burning the candle at both ends. And if you've seen this picture before in one of my other webinars, you know that, if that keeps burning, a few things are going to happen. It's fine because it's, you know, the pros is that it's burning beautifully, double the source of light, but it means that the candle's burning faster, isn't it? And what's going to happen to your fingers? Yeah, exactly. They will get burnt. So just make sure, please, that you're not overdoing things and causing yourself to be excessively fatigued. So, we have high stress situations, our days are highly stressful. Just love yourself enough to think that I actually need to replenish, my energy accounts and ensure that I'm not so fatigued, because it will cause illness, but also it'll impact on your presence at the clinic or the practice, and also at home in your own life. Understand that at some point with fatigue, you know, illness does follow. And it's not because of anything else, but your immune system can only manage so much. And if you're not turning up for yourself, it will put the brakes on like it did me. And I just crashed and burned and I couldn't go anywhere. So those things do happen. Okay. Do you find that you've kind of changed your appetite or your diet? For some people, stress can cause them to overeat. And for other people, stress kind of reduces the appetite. Um, Neither extreme is really good for your body. And, for optimal health, you need to understand that you need some mental clarity. So you need to just take your lunch breaks away from your desk. It says desk there. What I mean is away from the prep room, consult room, office. Go outside. Don't go for, the local fast food. And I know there are many, so I'm not going to name names, but you guys know which one. So don't do that. Try bringing a packed lunch and make sure that you can at least nourish yourself. The thing is, number 5 is obviously anxiety. It doesn't help because high stress causes anxiety anyway. By mere fact of the type of jobs we do, it is a very stressful environment. It can cause this crippling fear. It's almost unrealistic in the way that it kind of comes on you. And there are other physical symptoms. Now, there's a very big difference between doing something outside your comfort zone, and you're not sure about a certain positioning of a limb, or you're not sure about how you're going to discuss something with a mentor or a mentee of yours, or maybe you've got something coming up that you've studied for, but you're not 100% sure how to. That's very different to that stress-induced anxiety that just doesn't go away. It's there when you wake up. It's there when you go to sleep. The fact that you need to go to work is such a stress that you almost are so anxious, you don't sleep well, and it just all rolls into one. Outside comfort zone is one type of stress. Being so anxious that you feel physically sick, that is something that definitely we need to be trying to reduce, and obviously get some sort of tools in place and some assistance. What I've done is this the series comes with some resources. There's some gifts from me. Okay. So I have resources on every day. And today we have a few resources. So these are downloadable PDFs that if you definitely want to get access to, just just click on the link at the bottom of this talk, and you're able to join where I'm be able to send you the PDFs. So every day you'll be able to get these videos in your inbox, and then the PDFs will be attached. Okay. So this is the first worksheet. I created this for some of my clients because they just didn't know what to do. They were like, there's so many things. I've stopped doing all of the activities, but how can I choose what to do? And this is just kind of um, a way in which you can start thinking of putting, you know, those barriers that you get when you're bowling and you're really bad, like I am, and you have to, you get, you know, and I always kind of try pretend that my son's the one who needs them, but I have them on, and him and I always kind of pair up. So you put those up, and these worksheets are like that. So they give you some sort of structure by which you can choose what activities you'd like to do. So, you know, this is just an A4 piece of paper, guys. You just print it off, and then you can decide. You know, choose an activity. What am I going to do? Okay, what activity are you going to do? So, are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to sit in the sun for 20 minutes a day at lunchtime? You know, so that would be, what am I going to do? When will I do it? And how will it make me feel afterwards? So plan how it is you want to feel after you do the thing. Don't do it and think, oh, didn't make a difference. So plan how it is you want to feel. So decide how long you're going to do it for, and how often you're going to do it. Are you going to do it every day at lunchtime? Yeah, that's a good plan. And by the way, if you decide to do something every day at lunchtime and you end up with only managing to do it 4 days out of the five, or 5 days out of the seven, that's amazing. Celebrate that, because you probably weren't doing it last week. So it doesn't have to be 100%. I know all you overachievers out there, you don't have to do it 100%, okay? And then decide, how do I want to feel? You know, do I want to be grateful? Do I want to be joyful? Am I trying to get balance? Am I trying to relax, happy, other, you know, blank, fill in the blank, whatever. The idea is, like I said, think of those kind of railings that come up when you go play bowling, when bowling alleys are going to be open again, goodness knows. But use that. Okay. So these is what all of these resources are, just to kind of help you and guide you. I've put a second one in there, which is Reduce Your Stress Worksheet. And I like this. It's easy. You know, there's not a lot of writing, there's not a lot of planning. And what I would do with this one is just kind of think about, you know, there's 3 exercises. If you can't use the first one and you can't decide what you want to do, use this one. So you can choose one of these exercises. You can do relaxing meditation, you can do some gratitude journaling, or you can take a nice hot bath. I mean, not a single one of these things cost you anything. Okay. So there's loads of relaxing meditation tracks online that are free. You just need a pen and paper to do some gratitude journaling. And what you want is to think about things that you're really grateful for and how they have impacted your life. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food? You know, simple stuff like that. And then definitely try and enjoy a hot bath. I'd get one of the signs saying do not disturb, lock the door, make sure the kids are locked away and they're not going to disturb you. Okay. I've also put in a little, you know, some notes in there, and you can just kind of scribble down how you feel, journal in there if you don't have a journal or a notebook. But we've always got scraps of paper. But I probably wouldn't use scrap paper. Definitely somewhere where you're able to reflect and use it on a daily basis. So, you know, the truth is, I'll remember the signs. Yeah, let's just try avoid all of that nastiness from happening. You know, I think we just need to take care of our whole body and our mind and our spirit. So just take time to relax, go outdoors, you know, breathe fresh air, whatever it might be. And those 5 signs again that we were discussing were insomnia, procrastination, fatigue, burning the candle at both ends, that kind of thing. And then your change in appetite and maybe just experiencing more episodes of anxiety, slight panic attacks, those types of things. So these 5 don't mean that you've got burnout. They just mean, are we kind of tinkering on the verge? Okay. Um, Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I hope some of this information was useful. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you in tomorrow's lesson. All right. Take care, guys. Bye bye.